what's happening in the veggie garden today. Wow, after all the rain and everything's growing beautifully. Even our parsley here is starting to take off. And that, in fact, that actually reminds me, I might pick a bit of parsley and see what we can come up with a bit later. Our very popular edition of the Mannering Park Cooking Show. Today I'm going to show you how to make garlic bread. Now garlic bread is one of those things that I haven't met anyone who doesn't like it. It's really easy to make, and like all the things that we're making here, it's really good to make them under parent supervision. So we'll get started. Now the first thing to get, the ingredients, I'll show you. A breadstick. This breadstick only $1.50 at Coles. It's called a French stick. Perfect for making these. It's a good idea to buy them a day or two before you make your garlic bread, so the bread's a little bit stale when you actually work with it. But look, you don't need those. You can use just normal bread at home. If you've got some, bread that's going a little bit stale or something, it's perfect for that. All right, the other thing we need is some butter brought down to room temperature so that it's easy to stir and break up. We've also got a couple of cloves of garlic, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and our magic ingredient from the veggie garden, our parsley. All right, so we'll get started. The first thing we're going to do is cut up our bread. Now I'm not going to cut the whole loaf of this, but I'm just going to give you a little demonstration with a handful of pieces. Hopefully feed the teachers for lunch. Yay! There's a teacher. But before we get started, how about we start with another one of our dad jokes. Dad joke of the day. How do cows do their maths work? Answer: on a calculator. Alright, now usually what I do, I cut my bread on a bit of an angle like so. For aesthetic reasons, I'll probably just use that piece to start with, and then I'm going to concentrate on getting my slices nice and thin. Alright, some people like it thick, but to me it's a bit like a pizza. I always like a thin and crispy crust. I don't want to be eating too much bread. I like more the topping, what's on top of it. So we'll cut our bread. Also today you'll notice I've got a proper cutting knife for bread. It's one of these serrated ones. Again, be very, very careful. Make sure you're doing this sort of thing with mum and dad supervising. All right, so just put those out. Okay, next is making the butter up. So I'm just going to get a good wad of butter. Probably that much is a good bit to start with. You see it's already softened up nicely, so that's exactly how we want it. So don't just use butter just straight out of the fridge, boys and girls. Let it sit for a few hours out on the bench so that it's nice and soft. And then we're going to put some garlic in. So actually I might put a little bit more butter. Actually I'll make this one just with one clove of butter, but if you're going to make more, obviously it also depends how much garlic you like. Some people like a lot, some people don't like too much at all. So I'm just going to get that clove and peel it. I'm going to chop this one up just by hand, but some people have got clove presses and things like that. Makes the job a lot easier. If you've got one of those at home, I recommend using it. So get rid of all the skin, just like so. Clean that up later. And what I normally do for my garlics is I just give them a bit of a chop like that. Chop them up a little bit with the knife, roughly. Something like that. And then I just come in with a fork and just grind it up like that. Doesn't have to be too fine. Having it a little bit rough is good. So we get it up like that. You'll see some of the garlic juice starting to come out onto the board there. That's all the good stuff. That's all the flavour that we want. when it's like that, we'll add it to our butter, just like that. Alright, so the garlic's in, and now for our parsley, freshly picked out of the veggie garden. And you don't usually want the stems there, you just want the leafy stuff, so we'll cut that bit off there. Just like so, and then all I do is bunch it together and then just cut it roughly like so. Probably not going to use all of that, but probably just a nice sprinkle in there for a bit of colour and a bit of flavour. And then we just mix it all together like this. So just making sure all that garlic and the parsley is all mixed in with the butter. It's looking pretty good. Alright, now it's time just to butter up our bread. So, when you put this on, not too thick, not too thin. Just about that's good. Alright, we're nearly done. So we've loaded up the butter. That will melt into the bread when we put it under the grill. And finally, the last thing I put on, and again this is optional, a bit like how much garlic you put in, but I always find a little bit of Parmesan cheese really makes this a little bit special. And then I just gently sprinkle it carefully on. Not much, just enough to give it a little bit of flavour. Alright, and we're up to the last bit, which is putting it under the grill. So we'll go and do that right now. We found our way into the staff room, into the kitchen, and we found a little griller. So all I've done is load up the garlic bread on the griller. I'm going to put that underneath and just let that cook. Now, when you cook it, you can't walk away from it. You need to stay with it because it will cook pretty quickly. And what you're looking for is just for it to start browning up on the outside, and then you know that it's ready. So we'll be there in a moment. Alright, we're getting along there. So you can see it's starting to melt. Oh, it's starting to smell good. This grill is fairly slow. Your one at home will probably be a lot quicker than this one. Okay, you can just see it's just starting to brown up a little bit on the edges there. That's exactly what we want. So we're very, very close. We're so close. Alright, I think we're just about done. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Just see it's just browned on the edges. It's all done, ready to just cool down. Just let it cool for a minute or two, and then it's all ready to go.